Welcome to another episode of amino acid. Amino acids. Yes, amino acids. These are basic acids that we find in our day-to-day nutrient, and they can be formed in the body, and they can also not be formed in the body. Remember, I begin to discuss the nutritional classification of amino acids, which are essential, semi-essential, and non-essential. And essentials are the ones that are not formed in the body, but they are taken in through diet. While semi-essentials are the ones that are formed in the body, but not the required quantity, but they are they are formed in the body, not in the required quantity. But non-essential are the ones that are formed in the body. Now, I remember I promised you that we are going to scale through the 9 classes of essential amino acids, which are valine, histidine, phenylalanine, and blah 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 and the rest. Now, I want us to talk about valine. You see, valine, which has a formula of C5, H11, and NO2. You see, valine has a formula of C5, H11, and NO2. This amino acid in itself cannot be. Yes, this amino acid in itself cannot be formed in the body. It is taken through diets. Now, valine is very, very important because it is gotten through many of the diets that we consume on a daily basis. So, most of those diets are dietary diets. Now, valine has a level of percentage to which it occurs in our diets. Now, I want to take you through the functions and importance of valine. But when I come in my next video, I'm going to be explaining to you the percentage of valine in the things we take. I'm going to be talking about the sources of valine and the functions of valine. Now, one of the functions of valine, C5H11NO2. Now, let me put it here. I don't want to be, let me reduce the speed I'm using. Now, C5, that is valine. C5, H11, NO2. Now, I don't want to go into if I want to explain this chemical formula, a time will come that I will begin to explain this. I will begin to explain to you the chemical formulas. We are going to go into how the chemical formula of valine was gotten. I'm going to go into how the chemical formula of valine was gotten. That is C5, H11, and NO2. How many carbons? How many hydrogens? And how many functionaries were gotten in valine that made it so important in our diet? Now, one of the functions of valine is protein synthesis. Now, what is protein synthesis? This is the biological process through which cells create proteins from genetic instructions in the DNA. Now, protein synthesis. Cells create protein from instructions given to them by the DNA. That is protein synthesis. That is, in other words, valine functions in 1, protein synthesis. That is protein synthesis. Synthesization of protein is one of the functions of valine. Protein synthesis. 2. Now, 2, muscle health. Muscle health. Now, our muscles are healthy due to the presence of valine, due to the presence of the amino acid valine that we take in through diet. Now, one of the sources of valine is meat. You understand? Meat is a source of valine. So, our muscles are worked on, or their health is increased due to the presence of valine that is present in what we consume. Now, muscle health. muscles, health. So remember, one of the functions of valine is protein synthesis, muscle what? Health. Energy. Now valine enhances energy. Yes, because when you consume meat, meat is bypassed into different parts of your body, and it is now digested and synthesized. You see, all these things, when we go deeper into the study of valine, that's when we begin to explain the pathways of the synthesization of these protein products. You understand? And how they end up bringing energy, or how they end up increasing energy in our body. Now valine, one of the functions of valine is that it increases what? Energy. Now valine increases energy. Valine enhances what? Energy. Now valine serves in metabolism. You understand? Valine is very important due to its importance in what? Metabolism. Yes, metabolism. Valine is very important in metabolism. All of us know what is metabolism, because metabolism is the basic function of all the activities that happen in the body system. Now, I told you that amino acids are very important in the body of every human being. They are very, very essential to the growth, functions, and health of the organs in our body, and that is why they are of a great use to every human being. And I told you, some of these amino acids are found in the body, while some are not found in the body. Now we are discussing those are the ones that are not found in the body. You understand? Those are the ones they are classified usually as essential ones. And we have 9 essentials. 9 essential amino acids. One of them is valine, which has a chemical formula of C5, H11, and NO2. I'm going to break down this chemical formula. I'm going to do a video where I'll be breaking down this chemical formula, and I'm going to do a video where I'm going to be explaining protein synthesis, how protein is synthesized, how the protein in valine is synthesized, how valine functions in synthesizing protein, and how valine functions in aiding our muscles to be healthy. Yes, and how valine functions in the energy pathways of the body system. I'm going to be making a video in all of these pathways. I'm going to explain this thing bit by bit, because I don't want to combine the whole thing in one video and make it look confusing. I want to break it down, most of all for medical and biochemistry students. Yeah, I want to break it for medical and biochemistry students so that they will understand the functions of all these amino acids. And I'm going to be talking about the metabolisms of valine, how valine functions in the metabolic pathways. Now, sources of valine. The sources of valine. Now, the sources of valine are sources of valine. Now, sources, where do you get valine from? Yeah, where do you get valine from? Sources of valine. Meat. You get valine from meat. Meat. You get valine from poultry. Yeah. You get valine from fish. You get valine from what? Fish. Meat, poultry, and fish. You see, valine is gotten in protein. Remember something, amino acids are linked to proteins. They are polymers of proteins. Yes, they are polymers of proteins. There are over 300 amino acids. 20 of them are gotten from proteins. So valine is one of those that are gotten from protein. It's among the 20 that are gotten from protein. Meat, poultry, and fish. Valine can be also gotten, one of the protein products where valine is gotten from is eggs. Yeah, eggs. Valine can be gotten from eggs. And you can also add, because valine is also gotten from dietary products like nuts. nuts. You can also add, valine is gotten from nuts. Valine can be also gotten from legumes. Yeah, valine can be gotten from legumes. Remember, valine is gotten from meat, poultry, fish, nuts. And it can be also gotten from legumes and soy products. Now, what are soy products? Like soy products like soya beans. Yeah, valine can be gotten from legumes also. Legumes and soy products. Yeah, so valine is very essential. Valine is very, very essential for the body. Valine is what? Very, very essential for the body. Now, I'm going to talk about the side effects of valine. I'm going to talk about the side effect of what? Valine. Because this valine you are seeing, it has a side effect that, if not carefully managed, can cause some high damages in the body system. Now, one of the side effects of valine is in supplementation. Now, if valine is consumed at a high level, if you consume a lot of valine, now see, when I'm taking you through this series, I'm going to be bringing you to a point I will start explaining these things for you in your day-to-day consumptions and in the food that you eat day to day. You understand? I'm going to be explaining how those things, how imbalance occurs when you consume a high level of this thing they are talking about. You understand? So if you consume valine in a high level, one of the side effects is that it causes imbalance. Yes, it causes imbalance with other amino acid. Yes, it causes imbalance with other amino acid, and this imbalance can cause side effect like nauseousness. That's nausea, and it can cause vomiting, and it can cause what? Diarrhea. That is why you will find out that when you consume some foods, you understand? When you consume some foods and you go and consume them at a high level, when you consume them too much, then you will begin to find out that something will begin to trigger inside you that you want to vomit. Now, this is the action of valine. It is an imbalance that occurs to your body system because valine has been consumed to a height. It has been consumed at a high rate. So you see, that's why understanding amino acids is very, very essential for you as a human being, and it's very, very essential for your day-to-day activities. Now, if you supplement, if you consume valine so much, if you consume a high rate of valine, yes, if you consume excessive rate of valine, more especially, now let me give you an example. When you eat too much egg, you find out that at a point you lose your appetite for that egg. If care is not taken, if that egg could not digest because of the imbalance with other amino acids, you will end up vomiting that egg. If you consume too much meat, that's the same thing that happens to it. If you consume too much nuts, that's the same thing that happens to it. So it is an action of this amino acid known as valine, C5H11NO2. Common sense. Now, side effect of overconsumption of valine is 1. Nauseousness, vomiting. That is 2. Vomiting. 3. Diarrhea. You develop diarrhea. That is, you develop running stomach. You begin to go to the toilet too much because you overconsumed valine. So I'm going to be, in my next video, I'm going to be walking you through I'm going to be walking you through all the pathways of how Valine affects you. Now, long-term use of Valine may lead to liver problem and kidney issues. This one will confuse you. You don't know, if you use Valine too much, it might lead to what? Liver problem and kidney issues. Even though you are thinking that you are enjoying, when you used to eat egg, you'll be thinking that, me, I'm enjoying, you know. I'm just enjoying myself. I'm just enjoying myself. I'm just enjoying myself. I'm just enjoying myself. But you don't know that if you overconsume Valine, it will lead to liver problem. Yes. And kidney issues. Liver and kidney issues. Now, what is the function of the liver and kidney? Remember that these organs are in charge of breaking down the amino acids that we consume on a daily basis. So I'm going to leave you from here. Let me not confuse you. Let me leave you from here, but in my next video, I'm going to throw in more light about this Valine. I just did a crash course on this Valine. My next video, I'm going to be bringing you out to the reality of what this Valine functions as and what it does. Thank you for watching my video, and do well to give it a like and follow me for more of these videos. Thank you.